Hey guys, so it is May, which is Mental Health Awareness Month, and today was Mother's Day. And for those of you who have been following me, know that my mom died in August of 2016, and her death was kind of the catalyst or catapult that I needed to seek healing for my own mental health. I'm really trying to be calm and put on a front, but I started this blog with intentions of being transparent because this is my this is a part of my journey of healing and growth, and I realized that I can't heal and grow if I'm not honest with you guys. So I'm tearing up simply because it's not easy to talk about. My mom, like I said, she passed away in August of 2016. And it was definitely it was very hard to deal with. It was a very hard pill to swallow. My mom and I had a very tumultuous relationship, and that's putting it lightly. We did not see eye to eye. We didn't get along. We bumped heads a lot. It was just a very, very toxic relationship. And as a matter of fact, at the time of her death, we hadn't spoken in over a year. And so her death came with a lot of shit that I needed to unpack. And it wasn't easy. It was not easy. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like it was. It was very hard. And when I say it was hard, I don't mean dealing with her death. I mean having to unpack all of the childhood trauma that I had dealt with and endured, and some of the things as an adult that I'm dealing with that are a result of things that I experienced as a child. And so having to deal with that on top of my mom's death, it was a lot. And it forced me to explore exactly where my mental health was and what to do about it. And so I felt like I needed to give a word to my followers because it's Mental Health Awareness Month and today is Mother's Day. And this is where the road meets for me. And so I was fine. I was fine. Anyone who has lost a parent can tell you that holidays, birthdays, they're hard. Sometimes they aren't. But it's those random ass Tuesdays that fuck you up. And so the days approaching Mother's Day, I'm sorry, the days approaching Mother's Day, I was fine. And I kind of had like this joke in my head, like if anyone ever knew my mother in real life, she was a diva extraordinaire, and oh my god, she was a fashion monger. Like, bitch was bad. She was bad. I owe all of my fluffy confidence to my mom because her being a plus size woman growing up gave me so much confidence because I never had bad body image because my mom walked around the house naked. She was fly as shit. She had all the latest fashions. She was not afraid to dress. You know what I mean? Like, she didn't try to hide herself. She was a big woman. She was voluptuous. She had dark skin and she was unapologetic about that shit. And so when you grow up a little fat black girl in a house with that example, low self-esteem and bad body image is just not something you experience. So I've been cocky all my life thanks to my mom. But she loved the finer things in life. And I was joking earlier last week, like, yo, it's kind of a blessing that my mom's not here for Mother's Day because that means I would have had to spend hella money on her ass because she liked expensive shit. And it was a joke, because I got all my money in my pocket because I don't have to spend it on her. And then today came. And I played that joke in my mind. And it wasn't funny today. It wasn't funny today because since my mom died, and it's been almost 3 years, I have understood her in ways that I wasn't mature enough emotionally or open-minded enough to understand her when she was still alive. Things that I hated for her for when she was alive, I now love her in ways that I could never imagine. And so today, when I played that joke in my mind, I thought to myself, the relationship I had with my mom and her death, I would spend any amount of money on her. I would love to buy her anything she wants. And not because I miss her and she's gone, but it's because the relationship, and this may sound crazy and people are going to look like, you got a relationship with a dead woman? Yes, I do. And I had to form a relationship with my dead mother because when my mom was alive, our relationship was, it was so fucked up that here I sit at 39 years old with pieces of me that are broken and damaged in ways that I'm not sure I'll ever heal. And I just had to, because it was either live the rest of my life angry at this woman who was broken and damaged and in pain and didn't know how to decipher it. Am I going to live the rest of my life like that? In pain and hurting other people because of the shit that I experienced as a child that was traumatic? Or do I rise above that for me and my mother, because she never got a chance to heal? She was abused as a child, and unfortunately, the people who could give her answers, they all died a long time ago. And my mother died with me still needing answers. But I had a choice, like everyone. Do I use the fact that I don't have the answers as an excuse for being an angry individual, for being an individual who inflicts pain on others because that's what I feel or that's all I know? Or do I use this and give this to my mother as her legacy, because I'm giving her no grandkids. I don't want no motherfucking kids. Y'all can have that. Or do I grow and give her this? This, in my opinion, is my mother's legacy. She battled with her own mental health for years, and even upon being diagnosed as bipolar and having personality disorder, she came from a time, my mom was born in 1955, where black people didn't do that shit. We didn't do therapy. No matter what you went through, your black ass swept your black business under your rug, and that's what it was. And so my mom didn't utilize the resources and the tools that were at her disposal to heal. And so as her child, a spinning image of her, I am my mom's twin minus melanin. My mom was beautifully dark. She had beautiful dark skin. And I basically have her same face, just lighter. And my mom had the best afro in the 70s. I've been trying to recreate it. And I think that's why I embrace my fro so much and what made me comb my locks out, because there was a part of me that hated my mother, and I never wanted to be anything like her for so many years. But that was only because all I could see of her was the parts of her that were in pain, the parts that were hurting, the parts that were hurting me. And I was completely ignoring this entire being of beauty. There was so many things about my mother that were just amazing. And when I decided to heal, instead of remaining hurt and in pain, I was able to embrace the beautiful things about my mother. And I no longer had I ain't shit like my mother attitude anymore. It's like, okay, you know what? All right, I get this from my mama. And you know what? I ain't mad at it. Because I've chosen to take the beautiful parts of her and let them speak for me. And let them speak for my mother. And I remember a time when someone would ask me something about her and I couldn't think of anything good to say. I mean, not shit. As a matter of fact, the day before my mom died, I went to see a friend of mine who I hadn't seen in a few years because I used to work in for a pre-college program with low-income first-generation students, and her daughter was about to go to college, so she called me over for my expertise to help her look for scholarships and the application process and things of that nature. And this was about 12 hours before my mom died. Of course, I didn't know she was going to die. And so, like I said, I hadn't spoken to my mother in over a year. And my friend, I'm sitting in her kitchen and she said to me, she said, "Hey, how was your mother?" And I was like, I looked at her and I said, girl, she dead to me. And went on about my business. Left her house, went hung out with my two best friends, smoked some weed, and just had a good time. And I woke up the next morning. My father called me at 6 a.m. to tell me my mother was dead. So I had to make a decision. Do I carry that anger that made me say to someone that my mother is dead to me? Do I carry that anger and that pain and continue to use it as an excuse for being a shit-ass person? Or do I use it to heal? I chose to use it to heal. And so that brings me to my video. And that's why my blog is so important to me. People assume that because I am that dope hippie girl, that everything in my life is about weed. It's not. It's only like 97%. I'm kidding. But cannabis helped me greatly in getting over my mom's death. I did have the pleasure many years ago before my mom died, in my early 20s, I did have the pleasure of smoking a joint with my mother. It was the first joint she had smoked since she was in college. And I smoked a joint with my mother. And so, I feel good in knowing that if my mother was alive right now and she knew what I do, my blog, how I use cannabis to heal me, and both physically and mentally. This tears really get ready to start. I think she would be proud because my mother was very beautiful. She was intelligent. My mother was straight-laced. She went to school. My mother had a PhD. She did everything that she was supposed to do. She beat the odds. Little black girl. Dark-ass black girl. Dark-ass fat black girl from the ghetto. Kidnapped from her parents at 18 months old. Raped and abused. Mentally, sexually, and physically abused. And she rose from all that shit. Went into her life's work, pursued her dream. For 35 years, she did what she wanted to do in the field that made her happy. And of all of that success, she looked at me one day, we were having a heart-to-heart, and she told me, her college dropout daughter, that she was envious of me because I always lived my life as I saw fit. And no matter what other people thought of me or how they thought I should live my life or what my path should have been or my trajectory should have been, I lived my life on my terms. And that was the thing that she envied about me. I didn't care what people thought about me being a fat black woman. I did whatever the fuck I wanted to do. I owned my sensuality. I owned my sexuality. I owned everything about myself unapologetically, which is interesting because I learned that from her. So, here I sit, 39 years old on Mother's Day and Mental Health Awareness Month, missing my mama. And being happy that I can say that the best parts of me came from the broken parts of her. So, that's my Mother's Day Mental Health Month PSA. I'm going to roll a blunt and watch Game of Thrones now. Happy Mother's Day to everyone. And if you have not found a way to combat your mental illness, no matter what it is, it could be depression, anxiety. Is that tacky to blow your nose on camera? And if it's a blow, I can do what the fuck I want to do, right? Okay, all right, cool. But if you have not found the resources, I suggest that you consult your insurance company, your healthcare provider. Shit, Google mental health with your fucking zip code. You will be surprised what you will find. Trust me, I had to do it myself. The help is there. It's just up to you to be ready to receive it. So, thank you, Dope Joints. I appreciate you guys following me on this journey of love and light and getting high as a motherfucking kite. And, yeah, happy Mother's Day. Bye, y'all.